In this video, I'm going to be comparing the Wrong Turn franchise, which is a series of horror slashers, to the Christmas Story franchise. I'm going to be looking at A Christmas Story from 1983, A Christmas Story 2, as well as Christmas Story Christmas that came out in 2022. There are some other made-for-TV movies that are connected to these free movies, but I don't think any of these movies have reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, so they're not going to be included. I haven't seen any of these movies, so I'm just going to be talking about Rotten Tomatoes scores of things I've heard about these movies. When it comes to the highest score for each franchise, in the case of A Christmas Story, that original movie from 1983 has the highest score of 89%. When you look at Wrong Turn, the highest score is a 70% for the second film. The second film and the seventh one are literally the only two out of the 7 movies that are fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Then when you look at lowest score for each franchise, ooh, yikes. With Wrong Turn, the third film has a 0%. In the case of Christmas Story, A Christmas Story 2 only has a 36%. Christmas Story wins again. And then when you look at average score, it shouldn't be surprising at all. Christmas Story is the higher average, 68. Wrong Turn only has an average of 38. So Christmas Story wins here. Then when you look at gap between lowest and highest score, in the case of Christmas Story, you have a gap of 53. In the case of Wrong Turn, you have a gap of 70. So Christmas Story wins again, meaning it's going to win this debate regardless of my personal opinion. Now, I've heard things about both of these sets of movies. I've heard good things about Christmas Story Christmas from 2022. Feels to me like, yeah, that movie did a good job of delivering what fans of this franchise would want. It did a good job of continuing the story. Maybe it's not a classic the way that some of these other movies are, especially the film from 1983, but just because it's not a classic doesn't make it bad. In the case of Wrong Turn, it seems to me like things have been pretty inconsistent. I mean, the newest film at least is fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, though admittedly only barely. When it comes to which franchise I would choose, on this case, I would definitely say Christmas Story, and that really is just because fundamentally I would choose a series of movies about Christmas over a slasher franchise. Christmas Story is the kind of thing that I'm going to be more interested in, and thus I would definitely say that I would pick the Christmas Story franchise. But that will about wrap things up. Honestly, in this case, I don't really have much to say because I haven't actually watched any of these movies and I haven't even heard that many things about them, to be honest. I've only just heard a few things, so there's not really much I can talk about with these movies, to be honest. So this one is not even close. Christmas Story franchise has won every round, so it has won this debate.